see if it's on. Test the audio. Oh, shoot. Hey. Oh, man, it sounds a little weird. Hello. Only a tad bit. Let's see here. Hello.
That sounded normal.
Yeah, I had to turn that down. I don't know why, though. Can you close that door for me?
Oh, yeah.
That's not good that I had to turn that down, though. Mic, monitor, output, desktop. It should be up.
Yeah.
Is it up?
It's up.
Testing. And then once we play Jaesun.
Testing.
Let's see here. He says, I can hear you. Okay.
Good.
You got this. G06 going crazy.
Jaesun days, let my music be your therapy. As my pen hit this pad and this pain leave my chest at my best, hope my words bring you clarity. Cause apparently, we all need love. Let my music be your therapy. As my pen hit this pad and this pain leave my chest at my best, hope these words bring you clarity. Cause apparently, we all need love. Growing up without my father and mother, life was a struggle. It was me, my grandma, sister, and brother. Yeah, we was thugging, boiling water, taking baths in a bucket. Heat from the oven, grandma's loving made a way out of nothing. To ease the suffering, rats and roaches in the kitchen. Our Christmases came from thrifting. Early mornings on the bus through the city, that's how we living. Just a kid, but people knew I was gifted. I seen it different. Way too young to make my way through these feelings. Like how we Christians and it feel like God's forsaken us. Mama and daddy, why he took them both away from us. Trying to have faith, but how this gotta be the fate for us. Wanna be grateful, but my grandma praying every day and still don't make enough. My heart was aching, bruh, so hard to take this stuff. Feeling like stuck in a nightmare, somebody wake me up. Remaining patient for the day that I can say and trust that I've embraced all that I face and made a way for love. And I'ma keep smiling, I'ma keep shining, I'ma keep on leading with kindness. My stock gonna keep rising. Yeah. Let my music be your therapy. As my pen hit this pad and this pain leave my chest at my best, hope my words bring you clarity. Cause apparently, we all need love. Let my music be your therapy. As my pen hit this pad and this pain leave my chest at my best, hope my words bring you clarity. Cause apparently, we all need love. You never know what somebody been through. It's just better off to leave with love. Love. Jaesun.
You guys are back on the Bench Podcast with Bubba and Pink. And I'd like to say we have a good show for you guys. Don't forget we're on all podcast streaming platforms, including here on YouTube. Please like, share, subscribe, all of that good stuff. Today we're going to be talking a good dose of NBA. We got Luka Doncic going outrageously crazy last night with a 60-point triple-double. We got Ed Reed, man, another NFL football legend and Hall of Famer, joining at HBCU to coach the ball club in Bethune Cookman, my alma mater. We'll talk about that. And, of course, we got some crazy stories here that you can see there. And we have an update with Tory Lanez's dad giving Jay-Z the business. But
it's always good when somebody gets the business.
It's always good, man. I want to start here. New Year's is right around the corner. We just got out of Christmas and New Year's is knocking on our doors upon us. And every year, man, these guys, these women, family members, friends, they make these New Year's resolutions.
Oh, yes.
I'm just not a fan.
No, neither am I.
Just not a fan, man. And one of the reasons why I'm not a fan is selfishly, I'm a member of one of the most popular gyms, LA Fitness. And beginning of January, you guys it's on your New Year's resolutions, and you're just going to crowd the gym for the first week or two. And then here comes February. I don't see any of you guys. So you're just in the way in January. You're in the way of my regular routine.
I'm not respecting your fake hustle. Nah, you're right. It is funny, man.
It's terrible, man. When's the last time you made a New Year's resolution?
I can't remember. I'm not a resolution guy. No, like I am a big day-to-day guy. Like I literally live day to day. I don't plan too far in the future. And I feel like that by coming up with things that I can do on a day-to-day basis is going to be sustainable.
Right.
But if I go like to extremes, it's like, hey, I'm not going to drink alcohol and, or I'm going to be in the gym every day. It's like you can't just go from one to the other. And I just try to find balance in my day-to-day routine. And if you do that, you don't need resolutions. We're just going to grind out the January like we did December.
No, that's true. That's true.
But I think a lot of people, they're drawn to that. I mean, this is a whole resolution concept, so people feel obligated to do that. And what's one of the most obvious things? Okay, well, let me work on my personal fitness. You're coming out of the holidays, eating like 3 people, and, porking it up. And it's better. I mean, we're in Florida, so you still kind of get outside and still kind of be active. But, like, I grew up in Connecticut. Like, you're kind of, like, locked down.
Yeah.
For weeks and months of cold weather, and, you're just kind of building the building and sitting around a lot, wearing, heavy clothes. It's a miserable way to live.
It is.
But I don't believe in resolutions. I believe in sustainability. So we're all a product of our habits. If you have good habits, you'll be okay. If you can't establish habits, you're going to be erratic. And that's what the resolution people are.
Yeah. Yeah, but, I hope it works out for them. But
I don't.
It's just mostly.
Why do you care? Who cares, man? I don't care if the next guy or girl has an extra 10 pounds on them. I mean, it's not my problem.
If they're single, it'll help the pool.
It'll help the pool.
It'll help the dating pool a little bit there.
Okay.
I don't know. Yeah, stop smoking so much. Stop drinking so much. But I'm just not one of those guys. And like you said, if more people can look for sustainability, instead of being a resolution guy, be a sustainability guy.
That's right.
There you go.
Join us on Team Sustainability.
There you go. Once again, you guys are on the Bench podcast. I want to give a quick shout out to our very first sponsor here, overkink.com. Don't forget, overkink.com has all, and I do mean all of your bedroom needs. If you use promo code bubbapink, you get a discount, all right? We're coming out of Christmas, headed to the new year. Get you some new toys. Get you some new lingerie. Get you some new condoms. You don't want to keep recycling the same condoms.
Well, I mean, it begs an interesting question. Like, what is the lifespan of a sex toy?
That is
like at some point, like, you have like a dildo, you have a vibrator. It's like you can't use the thing forever.
Do you get tired of it, or you mean wear and tear?
Well, I'm assuming wear and tear.
Okay.
How many germs can you put on the thing? I'd assume like there's a recommended lifespan for like a rose. Like, you don't buy one rose at age 30, and you're still banging it out at age 60 with the same rose. I mean, like, what's the lifespan on a sex toy?
Quick, funny, short story.
Okay.
Many moons ago, I went
last week
back to my ex. I went to my ex's house.
Oh, the ex's house.
And I said, okay, let's do something. Let's play around with the sex toy, right?
Okay.
And so I said, okay, bring out your sex toy. She's like, you sure? I was like, yeah, bring out your sex toy. Bring out your, whatever.
She only has
whatever,
one?
Yeah, she only has one.
Okay.
She's like, yeah. So I'm like, yeah, bring out your sex toy. Bring out your sex toy. So whatever, I go out, take a shower. She had just gotten out of the shower. So, and laying on the bed, 15-inch white man's dildo. Oh, dude. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm thinking she has a vibrator on one of these roses or whatnot.
She tried to warn you.
She tried to warn me.
Are you sure?
Are you sure?
You know what's funny though? Like, it kind of answers that question because, like, you sometimes, like, you go to a place like Fairville or you're looking online and you're like, you see toys like that, you're like, who the hell uses this? Bubba's ex.
But damn, I know what you've been missing during our relationship. But yeah, so I went to overkick.com and I bought her a rose. So, it doesn't have to be a gift holiday or something like that.
You could just want to reclaim your manhood. So wait a minute, did she use the thing while you watched?
No. The plan was for us to interact, and I'm using it on her while doing other things. That was the plan.
But once you saw the size of it, Plan B came in.
No, I'm not using a dildo in a sense. No matter the size or orientation, I'm just not using a dildo in the bedroom. We can use vibrators and whatever, butt plugs, whatever you're in. But we're not using
just
dildos.
Not the 15-inch one. That's hysterical.
It's just off the table.
Was she disappointed when you declined?
No.
You asked for it. You better use it.
You better use it. No. Right.
Oh, that's good stuff.
It is. I thought that'd be interesting. Yeah, man. So I wanted to, let's get into the NBA.
All right.
It's the NBA season. We're approaching now. Well, we're going to go into January. February is around All-Star break. That's when they say, like, the NBA season really starts right after All-Star break.
Yeah.
But some of these guys are really hooping, man, and Luka is one of them.
What a game.
Yeah. 60 points, 21 rebounds, 10 assists. And just watching national TV today, the chatter around it is like, is it the best performance, regular season performance? And you have the Jordan, the 69 and 18 rebounds, I believe. No, was it 69? It was 69. He had a good amount of rebounds. Whatever.
Right, I can't remember. I do remember the 69.
You got Kobe, 81 points, Wilt, 100, what have you, right? We're not gonna talk about the best performances regular season. I wanted to bring this into the top 5 NBA players like right now and where Luka ranks. But before I get there, man, I can't help but to think. And I'm not anymore a Jordan LeBron guy. Like that argument. Matter of fact, I'm in the damn barbershop, just getting my damn haircut, and my barber gets a call, and it's a guy, and they get into this LeBron Jordan while I'm trying to get my damn haircut.
It never stops for some
And the
people.
barber, and then he asking me,
was it Will Lee calling him?
No, no, but it was a guy. Matter of fact, he's a former professional baseball player, MLB. He actually wants to be on the show.
Okay.
So I'm gonna give him a shout out. But anyway, and my barber's like, "Oh, hold on, man. I got a sports broadcaster right in my seat. Ask him, man, because he's my barber. He's a LeBron guy, and this guy's a heavy Jordan guy. So then I get into this fucking meaningless conversation and argument. And my point to this is, I just honestly, man, it's my opinion or whatever, but I've never seen the league with this much fucking talent in it. It just hasn't been, not at one time. And it's incredibly hard to really put an actual top 5 together. And I made an attempt to do so.
Okay.
All right. And you tell me where I'm wrong here, all right? So, top 5 players in the NBA right now, this season. It's not a legacy thing. This is not about what happened, 2, 3, 4 years ago. This is this season, top 5 in the NBA, all right? Coming in at number 5, I have Jaeson Tatum. All right.
He was incredible on Christmas Day.
He was incredible on Christmas Day.
And he's played at a high level all year.
All year.
But yeah, I mean, I literally, he's always, I mean, I've watched a lot of Celtics basketball. He, is a big Brad Stevens guy. And, Tatum was one of those guys who always capable of making great plays, but I also felt like, he had a little bit of the choker in him. Mm-hmm. And, he's just gotten better and better and better. And then, then Christmas Day, like, he literally was unbothered by the Bucks. Like, it didn't matter who was near him, who was trying to guard him. He was just taking the shots he wanted to take and hitting them. Mm-hmm. And it looked so easy. So, virtually unstoppable.
Very true. Now, to show you just how crazy the league is right now, first of all, he's the leading MVP. Go get her. Just right now. If the league ended today for whatever drastic COVID-30 reason, he's the MVP. And I have him at number 5, and there's just no way around. I can't put him any higher. And right now, Jaeson Tatum, he's on the number 1 team in the East, number 1 team in the league, actually. And he's averaging 31 and 8. All right, 31 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, which is not too shabby in itself. And he's a solid defender. He's taking a step back as far as defensive efficiency this year, but he's not a bum. He's still good. He's solid in that category, so that's good. He's still a good two-way player. All right, so that's number 5. Coming at number 4, I have KD. Now, Kevin Durant is a guy last year that we really got on, and he was out of our top 5 or top 7, or whatever that was, number that we did at the time. And I felt like KD hasn't been a guy that's ever had awesome leadership, but he's a guy that had poor leadership, but he also got swept, and he couldn't figure out the Celtics defense and things of that nature, which coaching had a lot to do with that as well. But this year is totally different. All right, KD is extremely balling. He's averaging 30, 6, and 5. Now you may say, okay, well, why you have Jaeson Tatum's averaging more points and 1 more points a game, and he's averaging more rebounds. So how is that possible? And his team is better. Well, KD is shooting a whopping almost 57% from the floor, which is incredible. All right, and 37 from 3, both better than Tatum. All right. He has his team.
And KD's still a guy that essentially shoots jump shots.
Yes.
To shoot that percentage.
To shoot that percentage is crazy. He has his team. He has the hottest team in the league right now, 9-game winning streak. They play tonight. We'll see what happens. They play the Hawks, which is a decent team. All right. And he just has his team on a roll. He's playing phenomenal, and he's the sole reason why. All right. His team is playing phenomenal, along with coaching changes and the depth of that team.
Yeah. I no objection to where you're going.
Okay.
The Nets, it's funny, like the circus around them has gotten quiet.
Yeah.
And the play has gotten good.
You know why? I think they're just taking a page from KD's book. You just hit a ball.
Yeah. Collectively,
I don't care. We don't care who's going to lead a team, who's doing this, and whatever. We're not talking about trades. We're not talking about parties. We just hit a hoop, man.
Yeah,
and that's taking a page off their best player off that team.
Maybe his style of leadership has finally found its place.
Yeah, I know, right?
I don't know, but yeah, whatever they're doing, it's working.
So that's number 4 at KD. Now this is where it gets really tricky at. It gets really tricky here because at number 3, I put Giannis. Now, this year, if you ask me in a vacuum who's the best player in the league, in a vacuum, I'm going to say Giannis. But Giannis has taken a slight step back this year. His shooting percentages are down, like so much down where you have to compare it to his rookie season. That's how down they are. His free throws and his his 3-point percentage, things of that nature, right? He's taking a step back. But he's still, even with that, he's still fucking amazing. He's top 5 defensive efficiency, all right? He's averaging 31 a game, along with 11 boards and 5 assists. So, I'm not taking him off the list. But, he's averaging, 24% from the 3-point line. He's taking more threes, so that's not good. And he's shooting less, and his free throws has just plummeted. I mean, his free throws has just plummeted this year. He's going to have to correct that for the playoffs. So I have Giannis at coming in at number 3.
He looks a little tired to me. Like he does not look. I mean, he's playing hard.
Yeah.
But he looks a little tired, a little labored. The energy and the play is not quite as effortless as we've become accustomed to. And
there's a lot on his back. You know why?
Yeah.
Where is Chris Middleton?
Yeah. For sure.
He's nowhere to be found. I mean, he's been battling these injuries that almost seems chronic to a chronic degree now.
Yeah.
And who knows if he'll be back full players this year. And Giannis has taken that entire load pause from Chris Middleton's absence.
And you also like the thing with Giannis, because he doesn't shoot it particularly well, there's not a lot of easy points.
Yeah.
When he goes to get his points, there's an energy outlay to that.
Oh yeah.
There's collisions, there's bursts to the basket, all that, and I think that contributes a little bit to the labor. He needs the rest of that team to, particularly in Middleton, to get healthy and start playing better. But yeah, I mean, no disagreement.
At number 2, I had to go. I wanted to go, didn't want to go, but I have to go Joel Embiid. All right, wanted Joel Embiid to be number 1. The only reason why Joel Embiid is not number 1 is because he has missed a couple of games this year. That's literally the only reason. Joel Embiid is the number 1 defensive rated player in the league right now. Right, number 1 defensive efficiency, defensive rating. He's number 1 in the entire league. But he's also leading the league in scoring. I mean, the NBA is basketball is offense and defense. He's number 1 in both. You know what I mean? He's average. He's over 50%, 53% from the field, which he shoots a lot of jump shots as well, but he's also in the paint. All right, he's shooting 34% from 3, which is nothing to sneeze at. Free throws, he's above 80, so that, he's awesome from the free throw line, and he's having a hell of a season for a team where their second best player has missed the majority of the season in Tyrese Maxey. We haven't seen him in months. James Harden, he's plummeted. Not plummeted as a scorer. He's become a solid distributor of the basketball, but he's a minus on the defensive end, and he hasn't scored with the same. But we know about the team. But Joel Embiid, it comes in at number 2. What do you think about that pick there?
Yeah, I mean, he's really held that ship together. I mean, Harden, he's in a bit of a decline or redefinition of what he is as a player, but he also missed a chunk of time too. Yeah. And Embiid's really been the only constant kind of holding that group together.
Yeah. And it's only been a couple of games he's missed, but you have to knock him because the fucking race is so tight. And at number 1, I have Luka Magic. Now, Luka Doncic. Now, this to tell you how crazy the season has been. Last night, I'm watching the Philly game. As I told you in one, I watch every dribble. Embiid drops 48 points last night in a loss, but he scores 48 and crazy rebounds and blocks. And I'm like, damn, this is the MVP. What are people talking about? Why are they not mentioning him for MVP? What is going on? And I'm in my mind, I'm about to make a Facebook post and this and that, and somebody tagging me. And Luka is like going crazy in this first quarter. And he ends up with 60, 21, and 10.
And you went back to the, where do you characterize this as a regular season performance? I think we need to revisit that. When Kobe had 81, it was a blowout.
Yeah.
This guy puts up 60, 21, and 10 in an overtime win where they had to score, 9 points to tie the game in 40 seconds, roughly?
Every single point.
Yeah. They did everything he had to offer just to win this game. Yeah. I mean, that again, it's not a high-stakes playoff game, but there's certainly no fluff in that stat line. Everything was needed.
Everything was needed.
Even
It
incredible.
comes down to they needed to the missed free throw.
Right.
Like, how often do you really see that execute?
Yeah, exactly.
He misses the free throw on purpose, gets the rebound, puts it up. Like, what are we doing? This is outrageous. This is Luka magic, literally.
Yeah.
Shout out to Jimmy. She said Luka is her guy. That's a good guy to have.
If you're gonna pick a guy.
If you're gonna pick a guy, I mean, it's a good guy to have.
He literally, I mean, when you watch him, he feels unguardable.
Yeah.
Like there's who or what can you do to disrupt him? Yeah. He's so big. And he's got the off cadence, dribble action. He's got all the step back shooting, and I mean he shoots it at a high level. He can get to the line. He's going to knock down. There's just offensive, and he's a deadly passer.
He has. I remember there were like words when James Harden was in Houston where he had mastered offense.
Yeah, I said that.
I don't think that was necessarily true. Like he was a really great and for his time a transcendent offensive player. I really think Luka Doncic has mastered the offensive. It looks different. It feels different than what James Harden did. It's similar. It's almost the same.
Yeah.
But it feels different. This feels more valuable. This feels better. It's just, I don't know. What was the term? Is that recency bias?
To a degree, and I was one of the guys, and I'm not a Harden fan, but when I say he mastered basketball offensively, he had built his game in a way that it gave you nothing you could do. You know, if you gave him space, he shot lights out. If you got up into him, he would, swing arms to draw contact and fouls. He wasn't the quickest guy, but with timing and tempo, he would get to the rim. And he was a good enough passer that if you wanted to go all out to, throw two guys at him, he wasn't going to throw the ball in the third row. He was going to find a guy in the corner. Yeah. And I think the parallel is stylistically there's subtle differences, but it's still there. He's got a game. Luka is bigger and uses his body more to just get people on his hip and kind of control tempo. But again, they're both in this place where it's like, whatever you do, I'm okay.
I have an answer.
Yeah. I mean, you want to get up on me? And here's a weird, quirky thing. There was some athletic testing done on deceleration. And that's so I'm moving at a speed, I slow suddenly and change direction. And, we equate athleticism usually with vertical speed, vertical jumping and stuff like that. But Luka and James Harden coincidentally tested extraordinarily high for that stop motion, which is basically the root of the step back jump shot.
Right. That
ability to kind of go hard, create pace going toward the basket, and then stop that on a dime and have the strength and balance to step back and shoot effectively from 22, 25 feet.
Right.
And they both tested elite in that category. I think there's a lot of parallels to what these guys are doing. I think that Luka just has that extra thing where he's just that fucking guy that wins.
Yeah.
He just kind of, finds a way. And, maybe, the playoffs won't be so kind to him. Obviously, they haven't been yet. He hasn't won a title. But, maybe he's going to be built differently to get it all the way done,
Yeah.
And Harden literally had some famous flameouts in the playoffs, even at the absolute peak of his powers.
Yeah.
And, but the reality is this, and I mean, winning titles matter. I don't know if he's going to win a title or not. But I do know this. The longer he doesn't, the bigger the burden that becomes. And that'll be the thing. It's again, if he goes 2, 3, 4 seasons, by season 3 or 4, and he's not winning a final, that's going to be the story.
Yeah.
Why can't he win? Is it the supporting cast? Is there some inherent personality flaw in him? And that's kind of what it got down to Harden. It was just literally he's fantastic. He does all the shit in the regular season. He just not cut out for the playoffs. He melts down.
He fades. He melts down.
And
the
that was
difference
the thing.
but in every playoff run that Luka has had, he's been phenomenal. There hasn't been any flameouts.
Yeah.
And that's a minute difference between the two, but he just hasn't. But in a similar fashion, we can see and we have seen with Luka where his his motor just runs out. Because he has such a large burden or a large load to carry on that team. And this team is different because they don't even have that secondary isolation score as they did last year. But as a GM, their GM has a tough task, but I think they've already done an awesome job so far. But they have a tough task because Luka is tough to surround the right pieces around. But also you have Luka, so it's
Yeah. But again, watch the narrative. Again, if they get to the finals, if they don't, now again, he personally hasn't melted down or had a real bad series in the playoff. He seems to be very much a man of the moment.
Right.
But again, if we go a couple years where he's getting beat in the playoff, it's going to be not even. It may not fall on him. It may be dude, Luka's got to get out of here. Kind of like LeBron in Cleveland.
Yeah.
The first time around, it's he's better than this. He can't continue to play with these guys, carry them to the precipice and fall short. He deserves better.
Yeah.
And that'll probably be the narrative if he individually continues to play at a crazy level.
But again, and I go back, the tough thing is I could see at that time you could see LeBron playing anywhere. Even though LeBron has this offense to his own as well, that surrounds it, but still he could play every. I don't know. I don't know if you could just drop Luka anywhere and they win a championship. I don't know. Like you could do that with KD and a Curry and a whatever. I just don't know. I don't know. And but time will tell. I think it has to be built around him, but who knows? Luka is a fucking. He's a basketball savant. So people like that tend to make things work. when it's workable. You know?
Right. Oh yeah, when it's workable. When
You know
it's
what I mean?
workable.
So
Yeah.
I who am I if I can say he can't?
Well,
but
and we've talked about this in the past. Dallas has clearly gone all in the sense of we're just going to go with Luka and complementary pieces.
Yeah.
They haven't tried to do the. I mean, like the last time they tried was maybe with the Porzingis thing, and
Yeah,
it didn't work
Porzingis.
out. They're not pushing hard to find a second star.
No.
They're saying, let's go with this. We have this guy, generational talent. We're just going to give him all the role players we can. Try and create enough roster versatility amongst the role players and see if we can do this.
And those guys are good. Like not even solid. Those you got Tim Hardaway over there, Reggie Bullock. You know those guys are really good 3-and-D players, man. So,
Well, they're really good, and I think that it's the interesting thing where I think that their status in the league doesn't entitle them to the ego to maybe bristle against all that Luka does.
yeah.
They're not near the same level where they could say, man, why am I spotting up in the corner 60% of our possessions?
Yeah.
Why am I always doing this? It's like, no, Luka's freaking great and you're not great, but you can be great doing these things.
Yes.
You know, if there was a true other, top 10, top 15 player, it becomes a challenge because how do you integrate that?
Yeah.
And a lot of teams have struggled with that.
Now the players I've named, Jason Tatum at 5, KD at 4, Giannis at 3, Embiid at 2, and Luka at 1. Now, just to show you where the league is at. I mean, I'm leaving out John Morant, who's having an awesome season. I'm leaving out Stephen Curry, who, even though before he got hurt, was having a fucking awesome season.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm leaving out guys like LeBron, who's still having a really good season.
And the 2-time reigning MVP,
Jokic, who just had, what did he do last week? He had
a
a
great
crazy game.
Yeah.
A 50-point triple-double or something
Yeah.
crazy. So, yeah, Nikola Jokic. So, I mean, the league is it's just an outrageous place right now.
Yeah.
With dearths of talent. And I don't know, the majority of those guys, like, I don't know if Jokic will get in a championship contending situation.
That doesn't feel like it.
Yeah.
Doesn't feel like it.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So we'll see, man. But yeah, so that's that. Now moving on to another NBA topic, something that I saw on Bleacher Report. The East, like I said, the All-Star game is in February, and the voting is going to start early January, right? So in the East, you have this conundrum of, the starters are positioned, right? So forwards, there's Giannis, there's Durant, there's Embiid, there's Tatum, but there's only 3 spots for those starters. So one of those guys will not be able to be an all-star starter.
That you don't have to have a center?
No, they changed
So
that
you go
a few
3
years ago.
forwards, 2 guards. That's all you can do.
That's all you can do,
Okay.
right? And all of these guys are listed as forwards.
And 4 of the top 5 players in the league by our estimation. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Somebody's not going to make it.
Yeah.
If not guess, but in your opinion, who do you have to leave off?
Well, and I don't disagree with anything you said in the segment. It would be Tatum. He's 5th, the lowest rated of those players.
Yeah.
If you feel that KD's doing more and having a better year, you got to go with him in front. If you feel like Embiid and Giannis, and that's basically what we just spent 10 minutes saying, it has to be Tatum.
And how can the MVP be not all-star starter? That's crazy, but that's the situation we're in.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the voters are going to do. A lot of it is popularity, I guess they're saying.
Well,
The
the voting's always going to be a little different, know.
Yeah.
And honestly, in the voting, KD might suffer.
You think so?
Well, I mean, he's kind of the oldest of the players. He, again, the last few years haven't been great for him.
But I think he still has the biggest name.
To a degree, it
fair
depends on.
weather name.
It depends.
Player.
And I guess here's the other interesting thing. Who's voting? Are we talking about
Idiots.
what's that? Well, idiot. But I think demographically, are we talking like kids 12 to 20, or is the bulk of the voters 15 to 35? Might be different because KD is going to be a little bit more resonant probably with older fan who that's been their guy for 10 years.
Yeah.
Whereas maybe a Tatum, maybe a Giannis is oh man, that's my guy because I've been rocking with him since I started watching basketball or whatever.
Yeah.
So, and I don't know how that, who all ends up voting, if you have to be 18 to vote or whatever. If you have to be 18 to vote, like in real politics, I mean, it probably benefit KD, to be honest.
Yeah, I think so, but I don't think that's the case.
Yeah.
It's going to be very interesting, man. I can't wait to see. Honestly,
here's the joke. Here's the joke. Here's the joke. Yeah, I would bet that the person that gets screwed out of this becomes the MVP of the game.
They're going to go out of their way.
They're gonna say, F you. You didn't start me.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm a top 3 player, 4 player in the league.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go MVP on you guys.
I can honestly see that from any one of those guys.
Yeah. No, that's what I mean.
Durant may not care. Giannis, Embiid, Tatum, they would do that.
But
Giannis and Embiid.
Don't underestimate KD's pettiness.
Yeah.
Like he might. He just might be like, yeah.
Especially if he hit his first 2 threes.
Oh yeah, I mean it's situational. It's situational, And depends. They all probably talk to the coach and say, hey, let me go a little bit, or whatever. Maybe they're like not feeling particularly great, and they'll be like, hey, I'm cool with 12 minutes, whatever. But again, that's what I'm saying. Like, just like if they play tomorrow and whatever, all those guys might have a little individual agenda. I think my point is like whoever gets slighted in this is probably going to go into that game a little bit hungrier, being like, yeah, give me minutes, coach. I'm good. I'm ready to go tonight.
Yeah. My best guess is Embiid's going to get the short end of the stick. He's been getting the short end of the stick the last couple of years, and the MVP.
Yeah.
I think it'll be the same here. And but when everybody's balling, you have to make those tough decisions, and those tough decisions are coming.
For sure.
Yeah, for sure. Once again, you guys on the bench podcast with Bubba and Pink, home of sports, music, and mayhem. Alrighty. Don't forget we're on all podcast streaming platforms, including here on YouTube. I want to give a quick second shout out to our second sponsor. I may have messed that up a little bit. Warrior13thebrand.com. Warrior13thebrand.com. Use promo code bubbapink and get all of your flyest gear on a discount. Once again, Royal13thebrand.com. Use promo code bubbapink. Alrighty here. Let's get to a little mayhem here, man.
Always good for some mayhem.
Yeah, let's do that, man. So, back to one of our staple segments of the show is You So Crazy. We either do trending topics and see, if it's really crazy or not, or either a Bubba story and see if Bubba's crazy or not. But today I found 2 trending stories here. And one requires I'm going to play a video, and the other not. I think we'll spend more time on the Coppin State. The craziest story you ever heard in basketball.
Well, don't forget Baylor had one teammate kill another.
Oh yeah, so that is crazy.
Tough to top that.
It is. But first, let's talk about this Florida teen here, man. This Florida teen accidentally.
Why's he got to be a Florida teen?
I know, right? The craziest people, right? Accidentally shoots a girl that was twerking on him. It's a lot going on in that one sentence at a house party. It's a lot going on. I did read a little bit, and I saw a news clipping as well. You asked if the girl had died or something. She didn't die. She was injured. They rushed her to the hospital. She had to get several surgeries, but they didn't say that she's going to be what's the word I'm looking for?
Incapacitated.
Yeah, of any kind.
Well, so where did the bullet hit her?
In the back.
In the back, not the booty.
In the back.
New definition of hot anal.
It goes the thing, man. This guy here, I know he feels like shit now, but he really should. I hope they let him have it.
Let's just pile on.
From the very beginning, right? Why do you have the need to bring a gun to a house party? I am a huge fan of house parties. I went to quite a few in my time, quite a few when I was at Bethune, and even before Bethune. Winter Park High School had some of the most legendary house parties. I've been a house party guy my entire life. A guy is going to a house party for coochie, for girls. Then you have the crowd that's going to get drunk. Then you have the crowd that's just going. like nobody is going thinking that they're going to fight or kill someone. Like, why are you bringing a gun? You're endangering people. If you're a street guy, a guy, or whatever, and you want to go to this house party, you're endangering so many just kids, just random kids that's just going for just fun, period, just by bringing a gun. Anyway, why are you bringing a gun into a house party? You know, it's okay. You have the guys that sit outside the house party and they smoke and they drink and they have their guns and they may be selling weed. They may not be. That's okay. That's cool. You're keeping it outside and you can holler at the girls on their way in and on their way out. That's cool if that's what you want to do. That's cool. But bringing a gun inside a house party, that's just fucking dumb.
It is. You know I hate guns. I mean, and this is why. Like, we sit here and go, this guy, whatever he's into, street guy, otherwise insecure guy, like he feels he needs this gun.
Yeah.
To be safe, to be whatever, to be a tough guy. I don't even know, but it's some fucked up mentality. And so he's got it with him. And then he's doing something completely innocent, getting twerked on. Like, who doesn't want to get twerked on?
Yes.
And now because the gun, we have a mishap and we have an injury and probably some criminal charges and all sorts of bullshit. And it's just, why? What did that gun mean to you?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, dude, like you said, it's like you just don't need it, man.
Just don't need it.
It's crazy because it just the gun raises the potential for violence and stupidity and drunkenness all coming into tragedy.
Yeah. And that was my second point there, because there is a lot of alcohol going on in this house party where the majority of the people there are under 21. Now, the owner of the house, now, you know, he's going to get, or they're going to get in serious trouble because all of those underage drinkers are there. And they can, you know, of course they're going to lend to the gun going off because the guys may be inebriated or drunk. All right. So now you cause that guy. So if I'm the owner of the house, you know, now I'm pissed off at this guy too. You know what I mean? Who knows how many house parties this guy has been throwing, or if maybe somebody's parents were out of town.
Right.
And they threw it out. Now they're in a bunch of deep shit because you know what I mean? You just caused a shitstorm for everyone. Now, if you're going to have a gun in this house party, why is it all safety? Why? Do you not know there's a safety there? I mean, you know, why you feel such endangerment that you take a gun off safety and don't even think, like, you know, it's fucking, I don't know. You know, I really do. He does need to go to prison. He does need to go to jail. He needs to go to prison for this. And he needs to sit and think and about his actions, man. For real.
Big giant timeout.
A big giant timeout.
But I hate guns so much. Because, you know, my thing is, again, I don't have a gun, I don't wear a gun, but I feel like people that wear the gun, that gives them a different energy and a different vibe.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to feel a certain kind of way toting a gun around.
Yeah.
And then the other thing you mentioned,
Nobody
the safety.
better not fuck with me.
Right. That's the energy that you're bringing to a house party.
Yeah.
That's not the energy that we want.
No.
Have a few drinks, dance, maybe hook up with somebody.
Yes.
That's the energy that people want.
And look at this guy. I mean, you know, I'm not the whatever, but look at this guy. He should feel blessed to have anybody twerking on him.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. We should all feel blessed
We
to
should
get
all
twerked
feel.
on.
I do.
Hell, we got so excited when that Senate lady or whatever she was.
Oh, man.
We were thrilled. And we didn't even touch her.
I'm still waiting on her DM reply.
Still dry.
Still dry, man.
That's funny. But yeah, just don't bring your dumb gun to the fucking party.
No. All right. So, yes, we know that this guy's crazy. We both agree on that. Now, Coppin State. Now, I said the craziest, but definitely one of the craziest stories you ever heard in sports. I'm going to play a quick video clip so you guys who haven't heard can hear.
This might be the wildest story in the history of college basketball. Former Coppin State basketball player Ivan Williams filed a lawsuit accusing assistant coach Lucien Brownlee of catfishing him and coercing him into sending intimate photos and texts. Allegedly, Brownlee had approached Williams online disguising himself as a woman, pretending to be romantically interested in Williams. Williams sent explicit photos and videos of himself for years with no clue that those images were going to his assistant coach. Brownlee eventually approached Williams saying that he was also being catfished by the woman and that she was blackmailing them into recording a sexual encounter with each other. Williams agreed to it out of fear that his intimate pictures would get leaked and he would lose his scholarship. He also wanted to protect his assistant coach in the process. After the request was met, Williams stopped responding to the woman, aka assistant coach Brownlee, and Brownlee became so upset that he leaked all the pictures as well as the videotaping. Williams apparently went to his head coach, Juwan Dixon, husband of Real Housewives of Potomac star Robin Dixon, who basically did nothing for Williams and made him show up to practice the day after everything leaked like nothing happened. On top of that, Williams lost his scholarship because of the incident. For more updates on this story, follow Bailey Jackson Sports.
Now, if you didn't catch that crazy story, go ahead, Pink, and just briefly.
Okay, so your Coppin State basketball player is approached, social media wise, by what appears to be a woman who's expressing interest in him. This then sort of, he sends her some pictures, private stuff, and then it kind of turns weird where the assistant basketball coach at the school where he plays is like, "Hey man, I'm getting kind of harassed by this lady too. She's threatening to disclose these pictures, and it's really embarrassing and whatever." And then it kind of turns into, hey, if we record a sexual encounter between the two of us, the pictures won't come out. And so basically, this guy agrees to offer up a blowjob to coach and record it to protect his scholarship and I guess his reputation. But, I mean, it's just an insane story because, like, what is going on? Like, as the assistant coach, if you're a homosexual, like, there are websites where you can go do things. There's probably clubs in your town where you can go do things. Like, why are you doing this to a kid on the team?
Maybe he needs Doc Rivers to mentor him. Doc knows all the sites, man.
He knows all the sites.
Doc knows all the websites.
But it's the crazy. I mean, and again, my reading of this is just like really weird fetish behavior.
Yeah,
I'm thinking that like this guy, this coach, kind of gets off not just on the physical act of intimacy, but on the whole thing of the catfishing, of the leading somebody on, in leading somebody to a place of having this homosexual encounter that they're not really comfortable having, and the power or whatever, the manipulation of that. It transcends the bust a nut part of this, and it's into something deeper, and it's horrifying, really.
It really is. Just hearing this outrageously crazy story, you get all these different like comments and thoughts in your head. First of all, so we didn't talk when we talked about this off air. We didn't talk enough about the player, I think.
Yeah.
First of all, the player in this, like, we're in 2022, whenever this was, 2021 or 2022, whatever it is. We have enough evidence. You have grown up with social media. No one should be getting seriously catfished in today's era. We have too many instances, too many famous. There's just no way, right? That's number one. Number two, when you do get catfished the way he did, okay, you send in pictures, that can be done, all right? I've sent enough D pics in my lifetime to where I could get caught up in that situation too. But when it comes to the point where now you have to do a sexual act with this man here
and record it.
That's where you like okay, now you're off the hook for me feeling sorry or feeling bad for you, because now you're entering a place where there's a part of you that wanted to do it. Okay, there's no man like if I ain't gonna say a man, a heterosexual man. Like if we're facing whatever 20 years in prison, and you tell me, hey, suck this guy thing and record it, and then you won't go to prison.
You're good.
I'm going to prison. I know you can say, oh, you never been in prison, never been in that situation. No.
And then somebody will make you do more for 20 years.
Well, fuck it, that's my choice.
Oh.
But I'm not, like, you're not going to, you like, there has to be a piece of him that wanted to do that. And if so, that's fine. But just don't paint the story to where I was taken advantage of. and this is what happened to me, and this is my story, and this. No, man, there's a piece of you that wanted that too. And while we're ragging on the coach, which you're a scumbag for doing it this way, but he picked that player for a reason.
Yeah, no.
He saw something in that player to where, hey, I might can get with that, but I might have to do it this way to get with him.
No, I was talking to somebody else about this, and like, there's a lot of stuff going on because again, at the end of the day, like, you look at the player, it's like, okay, you sent some dick pics, like even if these come out publicly, like it is 2022.
Yeah,
like, the school's not going to automatically terminate your scholarship because that happened. I mean, they could check the cell phones of the whole damn roster and find pics sent to others. I mean, it just is what it is.
Yes.
Like you're almost over. You're almost like over fearing something that's just not that bad, as far as that goes. And then particularly like, once you realize you've been catfished, it's like, okay, well, do what you're going to do.
Yes.
You're the idiot that catfished me.
Right.
But again, you go back and 18, 19, 20 years old, and, you're just not, you don't think as clearly, you don't have as much, experience and things like that, and you're more susceptible to that. Now, the one thing, and I'm a big psychology guy. The one thing I would say is when you're in those, 18, 19, 20-year-old time period, typically you're really kind of drifted away and isolated from your parents in the sense that you're never telling them everything that you're doing.
No.
If you're smashing girls, if you're, robbing banks, whatever you're into, even if you're drinking and stuff like that, they're never going to know the full story.
No.
And so you're already in this place where you're doing a lot of stuff that you're not comfortable telling your parents. Now, you get in this situation, and this is a little bit where we had the Notre Dame guy. You kind of get caught up in this thing where you're like, shit, this is really stupid. Yeah. Now you don't feel comfortable telling your peers and your friend circle, the rest of the guys on the team, this, that, and other. You're like, hey, let me just find a way to take this L and, and just keep it quiet, nobody, and move on. And so it's that next isolation thing. And that's why I think the coach was very clever in how he kind of did this. Then his move is to kind of come to you and be like, yo, man, I'm going through the same thing. Mm-hmm. Now you're isolated from probably, your parents, your family. You can't tell them this. You're isolated and you're embarrassed around your teammates. But now this one person is telling you, man, I know where you're at. I'm here too.
Right.
And it's like it becomes psychologically very appealing to kind of put some trust or open up to that person because you literally don't have anybody else in that situation. And again, if you look from the sexual predator standpoint, like the coach, he picks this guy for a reason. Yeah. Maybe, maybe he sees that the guy is like socially isolated. Maybe he sees that this is a player that isn't really like grounded and balanced. Because again, a lot of the sexual predators, they prey on like broken home people that have been through, like adversity and trauma and things like that. And that's what they go for. So he probably saw some stuff in this guy. Maybe even he saw something about this guy and his mannerisms where he thought, yeah, he might be susceptible to, engaging in some homosexual activity. Like, we're not sure, but like it's possible. But he definitely saw something where this guy's a mark.
Yeah.
Because you look at the coach and has 12, 15 guys that he has this same proximity to. He chooses one for a reason.
Yeah.
It just is what it is, and as far as that goes, so, I mean, again, and we literally say this every week, when something stupid happens, there's no shortage of blame. Like the guy, like again, like you said, at some point, like it's like, dude, you have a choice, suck a penis or just like stand up and say, this is bullshit, do what you need to do.
Yeah.
And I'm going to weather the storm. And he chose to suck the penis.
Yeah.
That tells you something about him.
Yeah.
And then the coach, like this whole weird thing, man. If you're a homosexual guy, there's plenty of ways to meet dudes and do what you want to do.
Now your whole career is done. Nobody's hiring you after this.
Nobody's hiring you after this.
And you can pull the, I'm gay. No, they're not hiring you because you're a homosexual, because you're gay, whatever. The correct term is they're because you went through this outrageously way to get a kid, whatever, to do whatever to you, and that's I don't know. he does need to be reprimanded for that. I don't know if he's facing jail time or not.
Yeah, I don't even know.
the
Like,
rules around that.
catfishing's like such a thing. Like, are there any criminal charges on the books for catfishing? I have no
I
idea.
believe there is.
It may depend on state as well, because it would probably be a state law situation.
Yeah.
But it would be interesting to see if there is any, criminal charges that would apply to essentially catfishing somebody.
Yeah. And to be honest, the kid, he looks worse now than, like you said, than he would have if he just let the D pics surface.
Yeah.
He looks much better. He looks much worse now. But being that he was the quote unquote victim in this case, he's going to move on just fine. If he's a fine basketball player, he's going to move on and do good things in basketball. If not, then he'll graduate and do whatever he's going to do with his life and his career.
Yeah.
But the coach is done.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Again, at the end of the day, you're coaching college guys. Like, nobody's gonna ever want you to do that again.
Yeah.
Like, based on the way you conduct yourself.
Right.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. So that's that. So we determined both of these guys are crazy, and maybe the coach and this Florida team. And next, man, Bethune Cookman has a new coach, man. Shout out to Ed Reed, former NFL All-Pro guy and a Hall of Famer. Some may say he's the best free safety in the history of the league, but he's definitely one of the greatest. And he's coaching Bethune Cookman now, man.
Yeah.
And we talked about it nauseous of Deion Sanders and what he did at Jackson State, and then moving on to Colorado. We kind of covered that along the ride. And being that Bethune Cookman is my alma mater, I'm going to love joining and watching Ed Reed's and covering this ride that he's going to have on his team, because
and Ed's going to like it a lot if you increase your booster contribution.
Ed has
move that 7% up, Bubba.
I know, right? Ed has a tall task ahead of him, man. But Bethune, we're bad. The football team, we're bad. I told you when I went and saw them against Jackson State. I told you before that. I told you they're really bad. They're worse than what Jackson State was when Deion took over. All right, Bethune has had a combined 4 wins in the last 2 seasons, and the one prior to those 2 was not good at all either.
I don't know the answer to this question, but what was Jackson State's record the last season pre-Deion?
They were not the greatest. They had won like 5 games or so,
like a 5-7 type
something like
team
that.
like that. Okay, I got you.
Yeah. So they were bad, but not the worst. We're the worst team in this conference, and but I will say that it can be done. When I was at school at Bethune, we had it fucking, in my opinion, just a great coach in Brian Jenkins. Jenkins then took over a really bad Bethune Cookman team and immediately turned those guys around. He won, 4 conference championships. His first year, he went 10-2. His first year, he went 10-2, 7-1 in the conference. He wasn't afraid. He was scheduling the Miami Hurricanes. He was scheduling, the FIUs, all of these guys right out of the gate every year, and was competitive. We played Miami Hurricanes, and Miami Hurricanes were up 14-7 in the fourth quarter. Like, we were competitive, and that's when Miami was much better than they are now. All right, so it can be done. Unfortunately, Brian Jenkins had personal. I don't remember the exact story, but something about you sleeping with the girls who were on that help out with the staff, the football staff, whatever.
Like the recruiting girls?
Not the recruiting girls, but I want to say like the towel girls.
The training staff.
The training staff.
Yeah, team managers and such.
So Ed Reed, stay away from the training staff, because this is not your, this is not the whatever Florida State training staff. Like, these girls are, this is not regular. These girls can go from training staff to working at the strip club that night. Like, they look that good. All right, so stay away.
Ed's first demand upon becoming coaches: I will personally hire the training staff. I will interview all candidates. Clothing optional.
Don't get caught up that way, man.
That's funny. Couple takes on this.
Yeah.
In general, I do think like there is a possibility for a quick transformation in the transfer portal era. And I also think, for the most part, when you're recruiting in like the lower Division I FCS schools, or FBS schools, you're looking for the most part at like 2-3 star guys. There's a lot of those guys, and if you're shrewd and you pick the right ones and you do a good developmental job, there's a lot to gain quickly in that. You can also do the transfer thing where you can get some guys that can potentially play that were at maybe some Power 5 schools, not getting the play time they want, but now, hey, I get a chance to play for Ed Reed. One of the best safeties in the history of football, kind of like Deion did with his thing. And so the chance for a transformation of the roster quickly is a good thing. And I know we've spent a lot of time talking about Deion and, what he did, whether he left a mission unfulfilled or whatever. The Ed Reed hire hints at what his legacy might be in HBCU football. What it might be is a pathway for guys to get head coaching experience and then potentially move up and through.
Yeah.
And I want to draw a little bit of an analogy. The conference that UCF has been in, that conference has kind of been a little bit of like a coaching hotbed. A lot of guys get head coach jobs there, and they if they do very well, they usually get opportunities at the bigger schools. Now, it's been a mixed bag, but you look at Scott Frost at UCF, went to Nebraska, didn't do well. You look at Josh Heupel, goes to Tennessee, things look pretty good. Mike Norvell, Memphis to FSU, he's getting some traction. You had that guy Tom Herman, former the Urban Meyer guy, was at Houston, and then he went to Texas, flamed out there. But there's this pathway from that conference. Now, Deion may create a pathway through HBCU football for black head coaches that can then move into higher ranks, and that might be his legacy in this era. The Ed Reed hire and his willingness to do this and take on this challenge kind of speaks to that. And we also have to look at it in the context of Ed is a University of Miami guy. He was part of the program. He's an off-field role there. And so for him to take this job at Bethune, he had to feel like, okay, even though I'm alumni and a Hall of Famer here, probably have my name on a building or so, I am better off getting head coaching experience than to maybe transition from off-field to on-field to maybe Mario really sucks and I get the job. And he's looked at this and said, this is a better path for me. And it'll be interesting to see what his dialogue is, what his rhetoric is. Is he going to be strong on the HBU message and sending a message, I want to build, I want to uplift? Or is he going to be more like, this is a great opportunity for me, and I'm going to coach my ass off. And if I get, like kind of what Deion, I mean, essentially, if I get a better opportunity in 2 or 3 years to coach, I'm going to do that. But it is interesting. I mean, Ed Reed is a respected NFL guy, a Hall of Famer. He was in the UM program where he was an alumni. It's hard to imagine that if he didn't want it, he couldn't get some coaching in the NFL on Harbaugh's staff, potentially with the Ravens. But this is the path he's choosing, and it's interesting to see.
It's very interesting listening to you talk, because is that really good for HBCU football? If that is the pathway, because that's a logical standpoint or viewpoint to have.
Yeah.
But is that good for us? Because I'm not sure about that. I think you want it, like for example, today they talked about this on national airways, on ESPN, on Fox Sports. First time I've ever heard Bethune Cookman being mentioned on,
right.
on those platforms, right? And that is awesome. That is great. I'm sure a school like Bethune, who has really have had financial issues in the past, 5 to 8 years. We've ran through presidents and things of that nature. So having a spotlight and generating more dollars through the football program for whatever, if it's a year or two, I'm sure that is a plus. But it's the, what happens after. If you go right back to the doldrums after, was that really worth it?
Well, and here's where I think that, like, you have to embrace your reality. And if you look at yourself and realize, hey, we have an opportunity to be a launching pad for coaches. And as long as we're hitting that coach hire every 2 to 5 years, we're good. And the resources and the energy needs to be finding, like, let's say Ed Reed's successful and it's year 3 and he's going to move on. We got to nail the next hire. And we got to nail a guy who we think is going to be better than us, really. We don't necessarily, the decision is this. Do you want to hire a coach for 15 years or 20 years to be your guy? Or do you want to hire the best possible guy, recognizing that you're going to be part of that ascendancy? And he won't be there forever, but he's going to give you 2, 3, 4 years, and then your challenge is, let me find the next one of those guys, rather than some guy that's mediocre or whatever, slightly above average, but hell, he's going to stay here for 12 years. And I look at it like, why not? What's the highest level of sport? The NFL, the NBA. How many long-term coaches do you have there?
A couple.
Very few, though.
Yeah.
Very few.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, we got to get a coach. He's going to be, hopefully he's good for this group of players. And, and then we kind of know, just history tells us, message is going to go flat. We may need to make a change. And
that's the culture shift. That's the culture shift, because HBCUs, we're used to, those 15, 20, 25-year coaches. That's what we're used to. And if that doesn't happen, there's something seriously wrong. Like the team was, very, very bad, or there was a scandal.
Right.
Those are the only. Yeah.
But again, flip your mindset on that.
No, that's true.
And I look again, and I think UCF locally is. They got lightning in a bottle with Frost. Arguably they got the best 2 years of Frost's life. And then he leaves, and they did a nice hire with Josh Heupel. Josh Heupel was pretty successful at UCF. Yeah. And then he moves on. And then you go with Gus Malzahn, who's not in that same mold because he's an older guy. And again, I don't know if part of their thinking is, well, let's grab Gus and maybe he'll kind of wind his career down here. But to me, personally, you don't want a motherfucker winding his career down on your dime. You want a dog who's going to go do stuff. And if you lose him in 3 years or 4 years, that's fine.
Do your work and get the next.
I was at FSU, and we had Bowden for 30 years. The last 10 were dog shit. Like, be honest about it. This is an old senior citizen without the energy, without the passion. Things are kind of on cruise control. He's in this weird thing where he's got longtime assistants. And here's the thing. The good ones moved on because they can, and you're not going to retire, so they're not going to stay around for a job that's not going to be theirs. The assistants that stay are who? The shitty ones, the cronies, the yes men, and your staff, and your fucking son. And those are the guys that your staff. It kills you. It kills you. You cannot be afraid of progress. And if there's a message to me, to Bethune or anybody else in HBCU, go find you the next big thing and get him before he's the big thing. And enjoy that ride. And then focus on finding the next guy. I don't want to overstate this because, Mike Norvell's doing a nice job. I'm not saying he's perfect, but I remember when he was hired, and he hadn't been a head coach for that long, but he already had like a coaching tree of guys that went to coach with him at Memphis and got good jobs going elsewhere. He's kind of continued that. His reputation is he hires really good assistants, and he lets them do stuff, and when it's time for them to grow and go, he's okay with it, and he focuses on the next guy. We have a dog, in my opinion, Alex Atkins, our offensive line coach, our offensive coordinator. Unless something happens to Norvell, like Atkins is going to have to leave, probably within the next year or two, because he's going to deserve a head coaching opportunity. Now, if Norvell were to say, hey, I want to go to the NFL or whatever, and I don't know that he does, then to me, you have to hire Alex Atkins right away. But you're going to lose him if Norvell's successful, and you have to be okay with that. But I like the Ed Reed move, and I think some of the HBCUs shift the paradigm, hire big name guys, hire guys on the rise, and be okay when they leave and focus on finding the next one.
Oh, that's true. I like that take, man. We'll see where it goes. As soon as Ed Reed has a press conference, we'll definitely cover that because we do want to hear what's his angle. That'll be very important, and compare it to what Deion's angle was. See if he's going to be heavy HBCU, or see if he's going to be heavy. Hey, this is a great opportunity. Let's see where it goes.
And I would be shocked, honestly. Ed Reed, doesn't have the persona of Deion,
Yeah.
but I would be. I mean, if the media members at his press conference don't bring up some of the Deion stuff right away,
Yeah.
they're like asleep at the wheel.
Yeah.
But you got to. I mean, like, hey, does Deion what he did? Is that inspired you? Is that like why are you leaving UM where you played and was a star? Like, was there no opportunity there for you?
Yeah.
Like, these are the questions he needs. You should ask him.
Yeah.
And let's see what his answers are.
Yeah. No, that's true, man. So we'll see where that goes. I do want to cover this this next topic here, but really quick. Jimmy is saying that carrying a gun in a house party is a bit much. However, in this day and age, I couldn't imagine not carrying one. I don't know. I just couldn't disagree with that more.
I agree. I agree to disagree.
It's a fucking house party. Are you there to
Well,
kill
she did
someone?
say it was a bit much.
Are you there to kill someone? Or are you there for sex and fun and drugs? What are you? You know what I mean? What are you there for?
What are we doing? Why are you here?
You're setting the tone.
Dude, you really are, though.
Yeah.
That's my thing. When you walk in armed, you're setting an internal tone in your mind.
Yeah.
You're strapped up. You're expecting the worst. And then you're going to react and perceive everything as a threat. Nah, man, it's just a twerk. Sit back and enjoy.
That's it, man. All right, let's play this quick video here, man, of these guys on the podcast. And it's interesting, their take here. Let's see here.
I done seen do the bare minimum.
The very much minimum.
And they done got some shit. So
Right.
me, I'm trying.
Right.
Stop giving them that ain't did nothing for you or is giving you the bare minimum. Stop giving him. Stop. Leave that alone. Let him go. That did nothing. What the fuck is we talking about? Is we being honest, bro?
Let's be honest, man.
Stop giving these if they ain't never really did nothing.
Except
At least
for
if
me,
you ain't seen him
if
trying.
I'm trying.
I seen do the bare minimum.
The very much minimum.
And they done got some shit. So
Right.
me, I'm trying.
Right.
Stop giving them that ain't did nothing for you or is giving you the bare minimum. Stop giving him. Stop. Leave that alone. Let him go. That did nothing. What the fuck is we talking about? Is we being honest, bro?
Let's be honest, man.
Stop giving these if they ain't never really did nothing.
Except
At least
for
if
me,
you ain't seen him
if
trying.
I'm trying. I'm still
I mean,
trying.
did you see him trying though?
Yeah.
I dare say those guys probably don't get enough pussy. That's the definition of a hater.
It is, man.
It is, man. It is.
It's so much wrong with that sentiment that it's not even funny, man. Like, okay, so you got two guys sitting on this couch, and you're saying they're telling women, hey, stop giving coochie to the guys who don't do nothing for you. Here I am. I'm going to sit here. I'm going to do everything for you. First of all, like Pink said, you're hating on the other guy. That's just what you're doing. You're hating on that guy for getting the coochie that you can't get for whatever reason, all right? That's number one. Number two, there's just something fundamentally wrong with that statement because if you're okay, we have to get this to a place where we all know sex is an even exchange. Because if not, then let's strip away with the fucking laws and shit and let's just go pay for coochie and let's just do that and everybody be whatever. But sex is an even exchange. You're getting something out of this. I'm getting something out of this. And if you're not,
Hopefully it begins with an O and ends with an asm.
If you're not getting anything out of this, then okay, whatever. Then that's your qualm, and then you go and look for the guy that you can get some out of. But that is the thing. It is an even exchange. So you're just talking about, okay, he's not giving you money. He's not whatever, taking you out. He's not buying you flowers. And that's something, all things that I will do. And that's what you're saying to this woman here. It's just something fundamentally wrong with that.
Yeah. Yeah. I completely. Yeah, I mean, sex should be an even exchange in what you do, not what you pay. And again, here's another thing. If you perform badly, like if you don't deliver the good sex-wise, like you're not going to be invited back anyway.
Right.
So don't say it's not about the actual sex and being satisfied. Once you engage in the activity, you want it to be good and you want it to end a certain way. Otherwise, you're not going to want it again.
Right.
I mean, unless you're literally sitting there monetizing your pussy and saying, this trash dick motherfucker can fuck me as long as he's paying the rent or whatever, paying for your hair to get done. Then you're at that point, you are a prostitute.
Yeah.
There's no question.
Yeah.
If you're having sex with a person because you enjoy having sex with them and you have a good time doing it, it should be even exchange. Shouldn't be all this other nonsense.
Yeah. That's it.
It's that simple.
It's really that simple. And then I hate that they have. He said, Chris says he sounds like a hater on that video. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I hate, and then all the women going and commenting. Yeah, I don't see a lot of guys commenting on this one. This is good, and this and that. But it really is dumb. It just really is. And for the women, right? If you really think about it, if a guy tells you, okay, hey, this guy that you sleeping with, whatever, he's not doing the things for you that I can do, right? That I can pay for this, I can do this, and I can do that. 8 times out of 10, I'm telling you, man, you might get her that way, but she's still gonna be fucking
other dude. I was gonna say that. Because again, like sex is like it. It's a physical, mental thing. Like you want to have sex with certain people because you're intrigued by it, or once you have it, you know that it's good. And you're drawn back to that. It's not like you fuck it up when you put these weird thresholds of, take me out 5 times and then I'll consider. Or if you're not going to help me with my bills, I'm not going to help you with the pussy. Like that you fuck the whole thing up from the beginning.
Right.
You don't even give yourself a chance to have good sex. Yeah. And that should be the goal of having sex.
That's it.
Like who consciously wants to have bad sex?
Right.
Yeah, those motherfuckers need to be put off the air. Seriously,
man. Man.
Just fucking go get some prostitutes.
That's fucking it, man. That's what you should do. Go, if your local town doesn't allow it.
Baby, I'll take you off the street corner.
Go to Dominica or Costa or whatever, and all these places. And
just get in my Hyundai.
Halfway, man. Shit.
Oh, God.
All right, let's end on this. Let's talk a little bit about this Tory thing. Tory Lanez's dad, comes out very angry, as some believe he has every right to be, after Tory Lanez was found, guilty on all charges of shooting Meg Stallion. Even though his DNA wasn't found on the gun, even though that there was a key eyewitness who said he saw 2 women fighting and he saw the woman shoot the gun first. Even with all that, he was found guilty on all charges.
I was shocked when I saw it.
Yeah.
I was literally shocked. And I don't like our justice system. I don't trust our justice system. But this still shocked me.
Yeah.
I literally could not believe it. I feel like you have, again, like the twerk thing. We have armed, drunken idiots. Like, bad things are going to happen. But, like, it's, for one person to potentially face 20 years in jail and the 3 other drunken idiots to walk away as victims? Come on, man. That's absurd. That is ridiculous, man.
Here we go.
I just stood here in this Los Angeles County and witnessed the worst miscarriage of justice that this world has ever seen. You want to know how I feel? I'll tell you exactly how I feel. I got some names that I want to call. Alex Spiro, Desiree Perez, and the whole wicked system of Rock Nation, including you, Jay-Z.
Yes.
You who say you rose from the gutter, but you have traded and bartered the souls of young men, and you're still doing it. Amen. The only independent witness in this courtroom is a man whose name is Sean Kelly. He came to court, and our attorneys, he would not even shake their hand after he went upstairs with Kathy Ta and Alex Bott.
They met on Saturday before. They met
with our witness. And then the man came back.
Oh, hold on a second.
And our attorneys, he would not even shake their hand after he went upstairs with Kathy Ta and Alex Bott.
They met on Saturday before. They met
with our witness. And then the man came back.
So yeah, you can tell he's very upset there.
Yeah.
And like you said, basically in that last piece of there, he's explaining that they had a witness, a key witness that they were counting on. I'm sure banking on, and all of a sudden, that the other lawyer and Rock Nation sort of changed their tune, changed their witness's tune, and they believe that had a big piece of Tory being charged all three.
Something had to have. I mean, without listening to all the evidence, I mean, there was enough there that reasonable doubt was present. I mean, it's a high standard to meet.
Yeah.
And for that, I mean, almost like a movie where they got the witness and did that sort of stuff. I mean, it is ridiculous. I'm not happy with this at all. Again, convicted on all charges. I mean, usually in a setting, like that where there's a lot of shared culpability, like the jury feels that, and they typically compromise in the verdict. They'll go to like a lesser charge or something like that, find some sort of like soft landing, and they can walk away feel like they've administered some justice, but mitigated it by going to a lesser charge or not convicting on all charges or some sort of hybrid thing. So I mean, it was shocking. For there to be a fix is an interesting thought, but I wouldn't rule it out. Something felt really suspicious about that.
Yeah, and a lot of people are calling out Jay-Z and Rock Nation now. I mean, and a lot of people in their industry. I mean, Kodak Black went on IG Live talking about it. There were a lot of people after that. And it was interesting because you texted me like, "Yo, what's the Jay-Z piece?" And I was like, "I don't know." And all of a sudden, I see all of these stars come out and go directly at Jay-Z as they believe that he had a big piece of why Tory was. And this is crazy, man. He's going to be facing up to 24 years. I mean, basically, what is he? Tory has to be close to 30 now.
Yeah.
He'll be a goddamn senior citizen by the time he gets out. All right. And Jimmy says he shot somebody. I thought we wanted the toughest punishment for gun offenders.
No, we just don't want the guns out there.
Yeah, that too. And
I'll stand on that. I do not want the guns out there. I mean, at the end of the day, look at this. I mean, what this is.
Take a gun out of that situation.
Take a gun out of this situation. Maybe people slap and punch each other, and everybody's good to go.
Yeah. Then it's just two people on one, as it should be. You need two human beings to fight Megan, and then that's it. You leave the gun out.
But I mean, you mentioned though that Meg is signed to Rock Nation, right?
Yeah, she if not signed, she definitely has heavy affiliation. To that label.
Yeah.
So and Chris says he thinks he'll just get minimal jet time, and
yeah,
so
we'll see.
I know it's not over. I know they're going to whatever and continue. And defend Tory in the next. Jimmy, listen. First of all, I there was no gun. His prints were not found. There was no whatever. So I still don't know if he really shot Megan. We still don't know that. That fact did not present itself in this case, right? So we still don't know. So I mean I don't know yet. Witnesses that says he saw the friend shot her. I believe that the friend shot her. I know that the friend shot her. Rock Nation manages her.
Yeah.
All right, so that's her management team.
Okay.
All right. And yeah, I it's not that I'm defending Tory as much as I'm anti Megan. I don't really care for Tory. He's not. I don't listen. He's not one of my favorite artists or anything. I maybe have a couple of songs downloaded or whatever. I'm just anti Megan. I mean, she goes in the courtroom and says, "Yeah, I had sexual relations with Tory." But here on the podcast, we played a clip of her saying
with Gayle King.
Yeah, with Gayle King saying she didn't. At no point ever had any sex relations.
She's a lying piece of shit.
Then
it's okay. The gun should not have been there, and I don't believe in guns. And I think this whole incident is why having guns around people is not a great idea.
Yeah.
But secondly, I don't like just like unjust bullshit, and she's gonna get up and lie about a lot of stuff and basically be rewarded for that.
Yeah.
I would have no issue if they did some sort of like lesser charge. You shouldn't have done something, whatever. But to convict on all charges in the context of what was testified to and what happened, that's a miscarriage of justice.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm standing on.
There you go. Now we're gonna move on because like that's over with.
Mercifully, it's over.
That was one last thing I wanted to get to here.
Well, let's not forget it this time.
I know, right?
We forgot something last week. We got outside and we're like, oh yeah, we forgot to talk about that.
Yeah, I know. Devontae, the Raiders, Las Vegas Raiders. So I just got a notification. So Devontae Adams, who we all know, had an awesome connection with Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay. Devontae was labeled the best receiver in the league. They were killing it. And then a decision came where Aaron Rodgers was contemplating retirement or switching teams. And that was at the same time where Devontae was a free agent. So he had to decide what he wanted to do. So to be fair to Devontae, his decision-making, but I'm not sure, but you had to have conversations with Aaron. Aaron is like, well, I'm kind of leaning to coming back to Green Bay.
That's that's the part I cannot fathom.
Yeah.
Like if you have a good connection on the field, if you respect each other, friendly in any way, it's like, dude, I'm gonna let you know, like, yo, I'm about 80% out, so I understand if you got to do what's best for you, or like, hey, I'm posturing, I'm gonna come back, whatever, or I'm just gonna keep you in the loop throughout this process and be direct with you.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Like, that didn't happen. It's weird.
And if that wasn't the case, that's more on Aaron, because you have to know, like, okay, without Devontae, this is my receiving core, and then we have to draft 2 guys, and then I'm gonna be. I've already been complaining about the lack of talent around me. Right. I lose Devontae, then what the fuck? So you have to know that. But so if he didn't, shame on Aaron. But anyway, Devontae goes to Las Vegas with his friend. All right, Derek Carr, he labels as a friend. He was his college roommate and was his quarterback in college. So they have this. Before the season, we're thinking they have this crazy connection and they're going to be just fine. And Las Vegas actually was coming off of a impressive end of the season last year.
10-7 season, went to the playoffs, lost a close game to the future AFC champion Bengals.
And then you're thinking, okay, you're just going to add Devontae, add some defensive pieces, and we're off and rolling.
Yeah.
But that wasn't the case.
Yeah.
And so much so
the Josh McDaniel factor.
So much so to where today they're benching Derek Carr, right? So they asked Devontae about it. And basically, he says Devontae Adams responds as Derek Carr leaves the Raiders amid demotion. So he got demoted today, but then new news is coming where Derek Carr left the team. He's no longer with the team.
Okay, because the article I saw said, like, again, they were going to start the other guy, Stidham, and then it mentioned another guy as the back. So it wasn't like David Carr was going to be the backup or Derek Carr was going to be the backup. So that is interesting. And then there was some thing from the coach about, he took it well. He's going to help the other 2 guys, blah, blah, blah.
Bullshit.
Yeah, exactly.
So basically they said they mutually agreed that he would step away from the team for the rest of the season to avoid a distraction. That's more bullshit.
But one of the real reasons is contractually they can cut him within 5 days after the Super Bowl and have like a $5 million cap hit and not owe him more money. But if he were to play in the remaining 2 games and suffer an injury, then that maneuver is not available to them to get out of the contract. So really, realistically, they are probably inclined to cut or move on from him, but the games are meaningless, and they're basically doing this to preserve all options.
They are.
But there's no way if you're Carr that you're like, I want to be a part of this organization right now, because if this is the way you're doing me, fuck y'all.
Yeah. And he sort of did this to himself with his bad play.
Guys that are playing great never have this happen.
No, they don't tend to have these things happen. And just more on the Devontae piece, they just, of course, getting him over there, they signed him to a 5-year, $140 million deal, which made him, of course, one of the highest paid receivers. I think he's right under Tyreek. And then they also traded a 1st and 2nd round pick to Green Bay to get him. So now he's in this quarterback hellhole to where a lot of teams this year, we talked about it last week, are looking for a quarterback. The Raiders have officially jumped in this pool here. And now you're going to spend the next your part of your career in your prime of prime with being unsettled at the
quarterback. Yeah, really bad situation. But to his, like, I understand the issue with Rodgers and how they probably didn't communicate properly. But like when you're going to the Raiders at that time, and Carr's there, and he played reasonably well last year. You got Josh Jacobs, you got some tools. You're not projecting this level of crap happening. This is you're saying, I'm going to make the team better. I'm really good. Yeah. And like you just don't. There's no way Devontae would have saw this unfolding from where we were coming out of last season into this year. Yeah. It's a shocking turn of events for it to be, basically Carr's probably done as a Raider. Yeah. And he's he's been there since 2014. He's been the face of the franchise. I mean, it's an embarrassing setback, and my thing though, it's funny with these, when you kind of have that walk of shame as a quarterback, there's almost no recovering. It almost does damage that's greater than the obvious. Hey, you're not playing. Yeah. You look at the way Jameis was run out of Tampa Bay. He's not the same guy. No. You look at the way Marcus Mariota was jettisoned from Tennessee, and then he's never recovered. And my thing is, I don't think Derek or Carr recovers. Yeah. I don't think he'll ever play high-level quarterback.
At least reach the height that he did in the previous season.
I think he'll be a guy that will fall into some situation where the team thinks they might have the pieces or whatever. And there's teams that perennially
he'll find some Carson Wentz situation.
Right. But again, Carson Wentz has never touched the level of play he had with the Eagles Philly. Prior to the knee injury. No. And it's just kind of that way. Yeah. And I don't know. Is there just some sort of almost like magical aura or confidence that goes with being that high level quarterback that once you're humbled, you just can't touch it again. Is there an elite level of confidence that you just have in being the fucking guy? Yeah. And then when that's taken away from you, it's truly taken away from you. Yeah. And I suspect that there is.
I think that there is, especially for. Yeah, I just think that it is. Period. On any level. I don't know why this name popped in my head, but even Tebow, when that was his play, really took a dip when it was already not such a high place, but it really took a dip when they went away from him in Denver, and then he tried to go to that New England Jets route.
Yeah, he never.
But he was way worse than he was
during that run. Here's another guy. Teddy Bridgewater. He was a rising quality guy as a Viking. He suffered a big injury. I know he won 4 games for the Saints, and he got a contract from Carolina, and now he's in Miami, and now he's gonna have to play because Tua is out. But nobody regards him as anything more than a backup, and I think the reality is he sees himself as a freaking backup. Yeah. And he doesn't have the same confidence and swagger that he had when he came into Minnesota as a high draft pick and an early starter in his career. Baker Mayfield's another guy. Once he lost it, once Cleveland moved on from him, that was a huge hit. And he didn't play particularly well in Carolina. And less than he doesn't even survive a season there. Yeah. And now he's in the Rams situation, and he got 2 wins to his credit. But again, nobody's ever going to perceive him as a full-time starter again.
No. And maybe he pushes his way to one of these open quarterback situations next year, especially with Stafford coming back. If I'm him, though, I'm staying with the Rams because a lot of these situations, you're not going to get one of the top-tier situations. So if you're Baker, you don't want to leave there where you fit that system, and McVay is a quarterback whisperer. You don't want to leave that situation to go to – you want to bank on Stafford, bank on his retirement, and stay in that system.
But that's kind of what Jameis did, and then it didn't work. Yeah. He got the starting job. He got hurt. But then he comes back this year, gets it again, and then loses it.
But Sean retired on him.
I know.
He didn't know that
there's
was coming.
But for a young dude, there are so many rumors about McVay retiring.
I have heard that.
It's it was after the Super Bowl last year.
I have heard that.
I remember I was on the show. I kind of berated the notion. I'm like, dude, you have a gift. Yeah. You're a good football coach. If you take that away and sit in a booth in your mid-30s, come on, man, you're cheating the game.
Yeah. No, that's for sure. So we'll definitely see how that goes. To close out the show, because we have events to go to here.
We do.
I don't know. I feel the need. I just need to address Jimmy's point here. I don't know why, but to say, listen to the way you speak about women and about her. You're contributing to what's this? The male
Male
hostility towards us. Honestly, it's disgusting. Listen, I don't think that Megan is a woman. I think that's where we separated. You say I don't speak about women that way, and I don't group you in there with her. I think Megan's a lying whore, and lying whores are in a different category than women. You know, and I just think like my mama was a woman. She doesn't go. I don't put her in the same category as lying whores. You know, go, and that's the fundamental difference. And I just want to make sure you understand why I stand on that, because and there are others in that category, but just for right now, we were talking about Megan, and she goes there, and there's like there's video proof of her being in that category. That's not some crazy Bubba conspiracy that she's a lying whore. There's video proof, you know. So there you have it.
Yeah.
All right. So,
I second that.
all right. Really quick here, just before we officially get off here, let's see what's going on in Atlanta NBA in the games tonight. The Magic are taking a tumble. They lost last night. They're losing tonight to the Detroit Pistons, a team that they should beat. Actually, the Magic are one of these teams. Also, I'm in some of these betting groups, and I tell these guys, I say, hey, the Magic are a 1,000% stay away. You bet with them, they're going to lose. You bet against them, they're going to win. These last two games, they have been favored. They were favored against the Lakers. They got blew out. They were favored tonight against Detroit. They're getting beat by 12 with 7 minutes to go. That's just the Magic.
Stay away.
They'll stay away. I know there's a lot of buzz about them in the city. I'm not a believer, but also I'm one of those guys who have to see it to believe. And so who knows? Maybe they'll turn the corner. I just don't think there's a corner to be turned. The Wizards have been a solid team. They're beating up on the Suns. But the Suns are without Booker.
Booker's out for apparently like a month.
Yeah, he's out for like a month. And we have the Heat beating up on the Lakers. What else is new? The Nets they're looking like they're going to get their 10th win against the Hawks. The Hawks have 82 points in the fourth quarter. That's not normal. But it looks like they're without Trae Young.
Okay.
And then you got the Bucks and the Bulls facing off. They're pretty much tied right now. The Bulls, man, I think it's time for the Bulls to go ahead and blow that team up. At least.
Fire Billy too?
No, I think Billy is fine. It's just the makeup of the team. You haven't had any luck with the Lonzo thing, and I know they're a decent team when Lonzo is there, but he's just never there.
Yeah.
I think Zach is the guy. He's the guy with the most trade value. So if it's one of those things where it's either Zach or DeRozan has to go. I've never been a Vucevic guy, even at his height. I wasn't.
I'm not a Vucevic
because he's an offensive center, but he's not one of the best offensive centers. And then he's a negative defensive wise. He's not a rim protector. And so, but you have to pay him a lot of money because he is a center that can shoot, and you have to pay those guys. And so I'm just not a Vucevic guy.
Yeah, I don't like that.
And tonight he's 2 for 8, 0 for 2 right on cue. So yeah. Alrighty then. That has been On the Bench podcast. Don't forget we're available on all podcast streaming platforms. We'll see you guys next week.
Next week it is.